The key thing is getting your body position side on and low so you can react to any movement. And then you're trying to assess things like, what is the first touch of the attacker like? If they've got good control of it, you slow down and you just get ready for the next movement. If it's a heavy touch, then you might be thinking, right, let's get in there and steal the ball. And as soon as you've stolen the ball, they can then attack. Hi, I'm James Richards, Regional Coach Development Officer for the East Midlands. We're doing a 6-week coaching planner on defending to stop goals with a theme of pressing and covering. This is week 2 of the 6-week session program. So having focused on challenging in week 1, we're now going to start to shift the emphasis towards actually pressing the ball and working on key details like accelerating, slowing down, then their body position, so that they're ready to react to the movements of the attackers, and then reinforcing that challenging thing we talked about in week 1, where it's can we look to steal the ball from our players and set up an attack ourselves. So for our arrival activity, what we've got is as the players arrive, I'm asking them to get straight into a match. But what I will probably do is highlight the theme of this week we're learning how to press the ball, and what I really want to see from you is thinking about how you're going to do that, and when you might steal the ball from the attacker. So we'll leave them to play for 10-15 minutes as the players arrive. Gives you an opportunity to set yourself and figure out who's here. Do I need to make any adaptations? You'll have parallel games going on, so you can play small-sided, 4v4s, 3v3s, absolutely fine. And once they're all here, you can now start thinking about your second session, which leads us into Diamond Duel. You might have seen Diamond Duel before from an attacking perspective, so taking players on. We're going to kind of switch that, and we're going to really focus on the pressing aspect of the game. So what we have in Diamond Duel is we have a diamond laid out, so we've got 2 side cones, blue, and then 2 top cones, yellow. We've got a defending team here, and we've got an attacking team here in yellow. You'll have probably multiple pitches because we want to avoid long queues. Although the game is quite quick, you'll probably have a few diamonds set up so players can play. And there's a few variations of the game that you can try out. So initially you can start where there's no ball in play, and you can just work on a tag-based game where the attacker joins in the game and the defender has to come in and try and tag the player before he gets to the blue cones on either side, or if they can take a risk and get behind, to the back cone. So I usually say 1 point for each side and 3 for the back cone. And what we're asking the defending player to do is start to read like the body language of the attacking player. Which way are they facing? Can you react as they make their move? And then it's just getting as close to they possibly can, slowing down, because you have to be very careful that the attacker doesn't use the momentum against you to beat you. So slowing down and then just trying to make the tag. Now obviously you want to try and progress and get the ball in as quickly as possible. With younger players, you might actually ask them to start with the ball at their feet, and they just dribble in, and you're playing exactly the same game. So the defender engages, you're reading the body language of the attacker, you're going to try and get to them as quickly as you can, slow down, and then you're looking for that body shape again, which we talked about in week 1, where it's getting side on, getting low, trying to read the movements of the attacker, and then looking for those opportunities when the defender drops their head or makes that heavy touch so that you can get in there and steal the ball. Now the key thing here is if you reward the defender and say, right, you've stolen the ball, now go and break and attack, you get extra points for it. So that's one slight variation of the game. You can, for older players, if they're comfortable at passing the ball, ask for the defenders to play the pass in, and I always say to them, the pass has to be good. If it's not a good pass, you have to do it again. But as soon as that ball has left their foot, they're allowed to go in and engage. So you're encouraging them to travel as the ball is traveling. So they'll take a touch, they'll engage, hopefully by which time they're close. And again, it's that side on and looking for opportunities to steal the ball from the attacker. Some of the groups might progress to where as the ball is played, you end up in a little 2v2. So there's a little opportunity to progress it a bit further so you can get the pressing going, and you've just got to focus in on that individual and their pressing capabilities. So the final part of the practice is going back into a game, but with a bit of a condition on there. So this game is called no going back. What we have here is a rule where when you're in the central zone of the pitch, you're not allowed to pass backwards to players also in the central zone. This is going to encourage players, hopefully, to stay on the ball a little bit longer and allow for that pressing opportunity, because that's what we're trying to get, opportunities to press. There is one condition where you can pass backwards. So we have a player in each end zone. So if they are in trouble, they can pass the ball back to the player in the end zone. What this will allow for is these can then reset themselves and they can pass out. The key thing here for defending is when that pass happens, because it's a bit longer, it's an opportunity for our defending players to recognize I can press here. So they might set themselves up like that. As that pass is made, you're looking at the closest player to engage, and then we'll reinforce the messages that we've just played in Diamond Duel. Can they accelerate quickly, but then can they slow down as they get there, because we don't want the attackers to use out the momentum against us. A key thing is getting your body position side on and low so you can react to any movement. And then you're trying to assess things like, what is the first touch of the attacker like? If they've got good control of it, you slow down and you just get ready for the next movement. If it's a heavy touch, then you might be thinking, right, let's get in there and steal the ball. And as soon as you've stolen the ball, they can then attack. Scoring, you're allowed to score in the central zone or in the attacking zone. You can't shoot from the defensive zone. Now, to make this game a little bit more challenging and maybe increase the opportunity for defending, you could restrict, there's no passing back to the defensive player in that zone there. So that means these players have to stay on the ball and they have to commit. You could also do things like these players have to take 3 or 4 touches before they can release it, or these players actually have to travel into the attacking zone to score. So what you're trying to do is get these players to stay on the ball for as long as possible, increasing the opportunity to press and look for all those coaching points we've talked about previously. Now, if we want to make it harder for the defending team, all we'll do is say that the attacking team can pass back in any zone they want. Now the defending team have to recognize when they can and can't press the ball, and that when they do, again, reinforce the key points that have happened in Diamond Duel. Eventually we'll get to a point where actually we'll remove the restrictions completely and just allow them to play naturally. Again, me as the coach stepping back and just looking to see how are they pressing, are they getting side on, are they diving in or are they slowing down, are they reading the reactions of the attacker, ready to steal the ball and then go and attack. So when it comes to match days, we want to obviously reinforce the points. So I'd be saying to my players before the game, just think about, can I press the ball at the right time? And when I do, can I get in there quickly but slow down so that we don't get beat by the attacker? And then it's all about that control and restraint, so that can I steal the ball when the attacker has a heavy touch or makes a mistake?